Hi, I'm Stacey, one of the grower advisors at Berger, and today we're going to talk about something that's critical to greenhouse production success. We're going to talk about initial hydration of compressed mixes. Now, this might look ready to go, but you can see it's kind of on the dry side. So what do we need to do to get it to this, where it's perfect and ready to put into our pots? We want to be able to have the mix crumbly and loose and fluffy, like this is, ready to go into pots. So how does that look? You bring your bales in. It can be a tower or a 3.8 cubic foot like this one. And there's a machine. There's different types, but one type for the towers is an elevator. And that one, you put it into the machine and it shreds it from the top as it brings the bale up. Then there's a head that processes and fluffs the mix before it goes into the next step. So that's the fluffing part. Another type of processor is a tilt baler. This one, the whole machine tilts, and from the back side, the mix is scraped and then runs into a fluffer, kind of like the elevator, and the fluffed mix comes out ready for the next step. Once your mix has been fluffed, it's time to hydrate. So at Berger, we recommend our mixes need about half a gallon of water per cubic foot. The best case scenario is once this has been processed, it falls onto a conveyor where it gets watered. And then the mix has time going down the conveyor to hydrate and swell. Then once it drops into your hopper, it's ready to go and fill your pots. So what if you don't have a conveyor? How are you going to hydrate your mix? There's other options out there. Now, one way is to put a spike in the top of the tower and allow that water to penetrate and percolate into the bale for a while before you try to process it. Now, there's also other ways. Sometimes the bale processor goes right into a hopper. At that point, there are nozzles for misting that are already built into your bale processor, but those are often just to keep the dust down. So what we can do is change out those nozzles to a coarse nozzle, and that will help get you more hydration. Sometimes if there's not a better option, we also recommend adding a wetting agent at this step. What it does is helps those peat fibers swell faster. Proper initial hydration on your line is key to setting up your crops for their best growth. But sometimes things don't always go right. Sometimes you might get a clump, and those happen. But if we can break those up and then add our water, because a half a gallon per cubic foot of mix kind of sounds like a lot, and it is. So the beauty of that is that you're not paying extra transportation. That's a good thing. Okay, so we can see that the mix is partially hydrated and it's coming together, and this takes a little bit of time. And this is why we recommend a conveyor. It's not just the time, there's a tumble involved, especially if you've got a couple of conveyors. But if you've got enough water on the mix, then it's got its little ride. And then you can see this coming together and starting to look like our mix over here. But if we just let this sit a few seconds, then we're going to have our proper hydration and our mix is ready to go. Another thing to note, that as you're using your mix, they all have codes on the bags. So it's a really good idea to either pull the label off or write the code down with the date and the crop you planted in that mix. Then if there's any questions later on, it's so much easier to be able to track backwards what's going on. So it looks like our mix might be ready to go, but how do we know for sure? Well, we made a video on how to do the squeeze test. So check out that video for more information. Make sure your whole team knows how to do that, and then you're going to be ready for your best crop ever. Thank you for watching, and check out the rest of the videos from Berger.